the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I asked them in the operating room, where's the American flag? They looked at me kind of strange. I said, I expect you all to do the Pledge of Allegiance before we get going here. I didn't think that was funny.
It's all right, I asked him if I could watch. Goes no.
I got the video.
Yep.
I'll call the meeting to order at 4 minutes after 6. Sorry I'm late. I was with the town manager getting ready. We have a couple adjustments to the agenda. I have some paperwork in front of you for the ATV, the State Department, this one here. Put that under number 6. Is that correct, John?
Yeah.
And then Maine Municipal Association, election of officers, put that under number 10. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's just the nominating committee announced their candidate for executive committee and vice president. That's just more FYI for your information, because you will be voting in a couple of months on the final recommendation.
Okay. If you remind, let me just mark it down. I did attend, mark it down. Review and approve the minutes for May 6th, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the minutes of May 6, 2019, regular meeting minutes with any corrections or additions.
Second.
Any discussion? Corrections, additions?
If I need.
All in favor? Abstain. Public to speak, under non-agenda items. How are you?
Good.
Did you catch any fish?
Not many.
A little too early, you think?
Yeah, way too early. We just got off the lake. It's still 45 degrees.
Yeah,
A lot of trolling for not many fish. Having a good time.
yeah, good company,
Yeah. Yeah.
good company.
Beats work.
Ethne, you have anything under public to speak? Boards and committees. You cold? It's like 100 degrees in here.
It is not.
Oh my
My
God.
son just had the AC blaring and I'm like,
Sewer Commission, we have the minutes from the March 12th, Airport Commission, and the March 25th, Planning Board, 24th. Any comments on any of that? What's that? Consent items. Let's do the ATV grant first, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the AP warrant of fiscal year 19, number 55, for $172,045.44.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. AP warrants. Oh, wait a minute, Donnie. Yeah, let's move back up to this one here. ATV grant. We went right to AP, that's fine.
ATV, close.
I'd say that we did. That's pretty good. Get that kind of money.
You gonna talk to us about this?
I can if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's we're trying to get a connecting trail for Wagner Land from the corner of Route 17 and South Shore Drive over to the Crosstown Road, which then we pick up the state land, and that's going to continue on to the City Pond land. We've already roughed in a lot of the trails on the Wagner land, but unfortunately, once we did that, they came back and logged it again and ruined everything that we did before, so we've gotten quotes to redo it again, and we've also gotten quotes to do the state land, which is going to lead up to Randy Cousineau's land. So basically, this grant is to hopefully get enough money to get those trails open this summer.
So essentially, you're looking for money You're looking for approval for us to sign
Yes, yes.
the application for the
Yeah,
grant.
it's about $49,000 total, which will go into the state.
Yes,
You'll also need a motion to nominate Wesley Jackson as the
Yeah.
project manager.
Yeah, he's our president. But everyone left me holding the bag here to come to the meeting.
questions? Yes, John?
Oh, Cindy's got a question?
Just, so, I was trying to follow your access
Okay.
questions and whatnot, and so, does the trail work originate in Rangeley? Is that why you've come to the town of Rangeley? Is because the trail work is in the town of Rangeley?
Well, most of it is probably Rangeley Plantation,
That's
I
what
would
it
say.
sounded like.
Yeah, but this is state funding, does that make a difference? In the application, this is where we were told to go to get the approvals.
From the state told you, or the?
Yeah, my superiors, yeah.
Yeah, it just, yeah, I'm
No,
confused.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's all in
Fault in any
Rangeley
of our land.
Plantation.
it is.
And
Going to
Sandy River, you know.
Yeah. They've got their own government, and,
Well, we've never put in a grant, this, our new group, and this is
Right.
what we were told to do,
Yeah.
that was coming from Steve Dudley.
yeah, and, you know, and he just may not have known. I just think it would probably be a good partnership if they went to Rangeley Plantation.
Yeah, so, do they have a club? Or-
Yes, we have a club.
No, I mean, in Rangeley Plantation, or is this the
No,
Aquatic Club?
Aquatic Club, but it covers the whole area, you know,
Just
really.
like the Sawmill Club.
Yeah.
The difference, John, is that the land proposal for this grant, it does not fall within Rangeley town limits at all.
So
That's
you're-
the issue.
And the state would send the town the money, and we're the ones really responsible, and you exercise that responsibility by appointing Mr. Jackson as the project manager for Rangeley, but this is a grant to the town, so my feeling is you have to go to the plantation.
Yeah.
Because they are capable, they have their own selectmen, or actually assessors plantation. But they could apply for it, unless it has to be done through your club, and you're the only club that handles all of that.
Well, they are the only club that handles all of it.
Yeah, but you still would apply as the Aquatic Club, they would have to appoint you to represent Rangeley Plantation. And the thing's due May 30th. If you get it in after that, you don't get any.
No, right.
So
Yeah.
it looks like you did everything, I read everything, it looks like you did everything. You might wanna try to get the Rangeley Plantation Board to meet and appoint.
To sign that rather than you
Well,
folks.
Yeah, it's not get the money from them, it's get them to apply for the grant.
Yeah.
What's the time sensitivity on this?
May 30th, I believe May 31st, it has to be in, that's pretty tight.
March 30th, very specific.
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. This is news to me, otherwise we would have done that, yeah.
I personally don't see any reason why we can't support their efforts, considering they're trying to bring business to our entire region. And it's not costing Rangeley anything, it's just an administration aspect. So I would be in support of doing this to help them out, but recognizing that the next time,
Yeah, we'll go to.
they would have to, well, I mean, it just makes some sense to get them all involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you,
I mean, we eventually hope to get into Rangeley and
I
by
hope you do.
miracle get into Aquatic someday.
Yeah. Yes, Cindy?
I would just suggest that you find out when the next Rangeley Plantation,
Meeting.
assessors meeting is. They call, the assessors are who are in charge at Rangeley Plantation and the others. And I would just let them know what's going on, just
Right.
for the sake of a good, positive
Up
relationship.
and nose, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I wonder why he didn't say
Might be
anything.
enough time to call the Department of Agriculture and say, here's the situation.
Yeah.
It won't be before our next meeting though, John.
No, but if you want to apply, and then we can check tomorrow with the Department of Agriculture to see if, in fact, they have to go to Rangeley Plantation. there's still enough time to do that, so they,
Brian Bronson's on board on this.
Who is?
Brian Bronson.
Yeah.
From the state, you know Brian, yeah.
Yep, yep.
He's the one that encouraged us to apply for the grant, because half.
Oh, yeah, no, it makes a great deal of
2/3
sense,
it's on
yeah.
the state land, and they're trying to get to the state park also.
So the state's only gonna pay 70% of this?
Right, yeah.
Where's the rest of it coming?
Out of our club,
Okay.
yeah.
they allow in kind, same as the snowmobile one.
Yeah.
People can volunteer, and they have so many dollars per hour they can, in kind contribution.
Well, look, we need a motion to do something here, so what do you say, you contemplate the notion of allowing the town manager to sign it if, and again, don't quote me on the verbiage here, but if there's no other resource, if they can't get to an assessors meeting, if the assessors meeting is the 29th, there's no opportunity to get this thing done in a timely fashion. So if you can check tomorrow, or whoever, or you check on your behalf. But I'd like to give the town manager the authorization to sign it. What's your thoughts?
No, I agree. There's two things. You have to first appoint Wesley Jackson as the project director, and then authorize either me or the chairman of the board to sign for the municipality. And pending whether we are the municipality, I mean, that's all you need to do. If we're not gonna apply. If the state says they have to go to Rangeley Plantation, then you can try to get them to have a special
Yeah.
selectment meeting.
Yeah.
You still have time, it's like 10 days.
Would you have to go to both plantations though? Because if the
Depends
funds
on where
are,
the work is the work crossing to?
Both of them.
Oh,
That might be an issue, because the trails
Yeah, you
cross
got St.
boundary
Louis
lines,
right
so
there.
any
Yeah.
town might be, any club might be able to.
No, Rangeley's Snowmobile Club applies for grants, it applies to the entire network.
Yeah, and
So-
that comes from the same
so-
state program as this.
Right, but they come through us because it's easy access for them. They don't go to Lynchtown, they don't go to Stetson Town, county government, they don't do any of that. They go right through here, we do the application.
So it might
So
be.
maybe just Rangeley Plantation
I
then.
didn't hear you.
So maybe just Rangeley Plantation then.
Maybe just the
yeah.
majority
Like
is
you
in
said.
Rangeley Plantation, I believe it, correct?
yeah, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say so, yeah.
You just need a sponsored town.
Right.
If we can do it, let's do it, but if they say we can't, we got enough time, I think.
So why don't we just either vote on this or do whatever you wanna vote, and
We'll find
tomorrow,
out.
call them up and find out if we can be the sponsor of this thing without actually having the physical trail in our town. So,
Right, yeah.
but eventually there will be, but I'm assuming.
Well, the club's in our town.
There's what's that?
The club is in our town.
Club is in our town.
but there's
That
no
might be
sources
all
to
we
get
need
in our
to have
town.
a club here.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's-
I don't know, I never did an ATV, I've done many snowmobile trails. but
Okay.
Well, it's easy because the system with the snowmobile, it
Well, this is
includes
kinda new to all
everybody.
of us, I believe.
And we're, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's the
Why don't
only
we
thing.
just,
You don't want a turf war. You don't want a turf war.
No,
We'll make a motion. I need a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to appoint Wesley Jackson, the project director for the grant and aid program for 2019 for the Quasic ATV Club.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
So authorize me or you to sign the.
Yeah, please authorize the town manager, because he's gonna do the work on that tomorrow.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Rangeley Town Manager John Madden authority to sign the grant on behalf of the Quasic ATV Club.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
okay, thank you, folks.
It may make sense to try and get a letter of support from Sandy River Plantation and Rangeley Plantation to go with the grant application.
You want us to get a letter
just-
supporting?
I think if you could get a
Yeah.
letter of support from both of those
Yeah.
plantations to go along with us, it might
Okay,
benefit.
work out in the future, yeah, we'll work on it.
Be more showing the state
Yeah.
that they're actually been informed that this is happening,
Yeah,
so.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, I'll stop by tomorrow.
Event permit, dog carriage parade.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the event permit application for the doll carriage parade, scheduled for July 3rd, 9 a.m., starting at the Rangeley Inn.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? The dog carriage parade is special.
Yes.
Town meeting warrant. Need a motion.
We'd already done this.
Didn't we already do this?
This is to, you're just gonna sign it, and I just put it in the consent items, because it's something I'm gonna have to have you sign off on at the end. So if
Okay.
everything looks good to you and you're go with signing it, then
So
To
this-
sign it so we can post it.
Okay.
yeah.
That's-
No
To the
motion.
town
To
meeting.
the police office to take it.
Yeah, because we've already done this before, because we checked it and then,
Right,
okay.
all right.
Okay.
You gonna make a motion?
I don't think, we don't need one, do we?
No, just.
Oh, I thought you said you
No, we
did.
had to
I
sign it.
apologize. I'm sorry I held you
We're
up.
just gonna sign it.
Franklin County Unorganized Territory Service Contract, we're gonna table that until we get the right numbers, okay? We're just not prepared for that tonight.
I remembered Shelley, during the budget, when I took the hydrant cost out of the fire department budget. So
Yeah.
when I saw this today, I thought, I gotta check that.
Yeah,
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure we
because you have to include the
allow for
hydrant.
that.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
need to review this and before.
The AvCog zoning ordinance revision contract. What'd you think of that?
So do we need a motion to approve you signing this contract, John?
Yeah, I gave you the sample the last
Yeah.
time, but we didn't
Yeah.
have any money in there. But I
Yeah.
think you can see by the hourly charge, AvCog's
Very reasonable.
charging is gonna save us some money.
Coming from a lady in the know, that's a good statement.
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
Very
All
reasonable.
right.
Need a motion to
I'll make a
approve.
motion to approve our town manager to sign the contract for services for the town of Rangeley for zoning ordinance update 2019 with AvCog.
Second.
Shelley seconded. Any discussion?
Did you put down to exceed?
Should I amend that to?
It's in the contract not to exceed.
Okay,
But just so you know, we intend to pay whatever that amount ends up being out of the legal budget, because this is gonna save
Yeah.
us legal money.
that's true.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Did I tell you guys I went to the county commissioner's budget hearing? Before I went down to have some reconstructive surgery, and I guess it would be all right if you didn't report this part if you feel so compelled, but I wasn't very excited about what I witnessed. It was a cluster. They're not really concerned about caring for any of the property structures and physical structures we have in the town. They're looking to nickel and dime the guy and that manages the buildings and whatnot. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I feel very good about how we manage what we do here in Rangeley by comparison. And what they put, I got to witness the police department. I was looking for your husband, but he wasn't there. They put Mr. Nichols, what's his title? Commander-in-Chief, Nichols?
No,
He's the,
he's a sheriff.
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 Put him through the ringer, try to justify, I mean, they're covering an entire county and asking about mileage. I couldn't friggin' believe it. I really couldn't believe it. It was just, so anyways, should I be back here next year? As I told you before, I want to participate more in that. That is, the Diaz lady that you see on TV about the quarter and that, she's sharp. She knows her business. She's out of, Jay, is that right? She's a sharp lady. And the chairman is scared to death of one of the commissioners. That was my impression. You print that if you want to. I guess I'll stand up for that. Okay. Anyways, I went. Whole business. Anything under revitalization plan?
No.
airport feasibility study. It's been asked by 2 select persons that we put that back on the agenda. Donnie asked me, and I know Cindy asked the town manager. I assume that's correct, right, Cindy?
I just asked for the email to be in the packet, that's all.
Okay, the email's in the packet, and after a lengthy discussion with John, a little bit with Donnie, although I feel what I think is gonna happen will happen, I hope to be proved wrong. It might not be a bad idea to talk this over again and ask DuBois King to hold off on this. Dave, and the reason I know that you and I and Donnie were in favor of this, I don't wanna be hardcore about this thing, telling you that this is a day short and $1, whatever that term is. But if there is a proposal that saves us money, let's be reasonable to the town, take a look at it, so.
Yeah, all I wanna do is look at it.
Yep, and I think it warrants that. But I just want to stress, and I have called 2 other airports. It's different with the FAA. We have to read this differently.
And that's what he said, there is
He
some
did,
extra.
he did,
Yeah.
yep. I also called them, but I want to go down that road. Are you all right with that, Dave?
Yep.
All right, let's rescind that vote. It was, you made the motion, Donnie,
I rescind my motion.
and Dave, you seconded it.
Well, second, I rescind, or vice versa.
Yep. And the 3 of us are in favor of, we'll go down that road and take a look at it.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah,
Cool.
all right.
So would you like to invite this company that you talked to a
It's-
meeting, or?
I mean, so that, let me just pull my solar file. So
All right,
in
well,
our
Cindy's-
packets,
And thank you, Cindy, for doing that.
you're welcome. So in our, this was in our packets for March 4th or March 5th, and that's where I pulled his name from, was information that was given to the Board of Selectmen. It sounds like it is certainly a non-binding conversation, and that would be, so yeah, he was one of the solar company contacts. Holly Noyes, her email got kicked back to me, and I didn't even know if he would respond. So that's, I tried to get the information before our meeting, before the vote, but it just didn't happen. So it wasn't my intent to disrupt anything, but if the board wants to invite him or someone else.
I think we need to have more than one person come and make a presentation to validate what can or can't be done. I think we need a couple people, so if only one responds out of that list that you have, that's what comes.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just, all I'm seeing is this is just an information gathering process. If the board chooses to put out, an RFP or an RFQ, that's something completely different. But all I'm asking for is for us to get information so we understand the process of solar in the town. Because certainly, we've got, I've gone down the list of departments and their electricity use, and there's certainly some. I'd be curious to find out, how long it would take to get our return on investment.
All right. This is where I part company. I'm all in favor of looking at the town approach.
Yep.
I'm all in favor of that. I am not in favor of waiting a year to address the airport, which is under construction. I think there's a clear definition of that. I'll get right back to you. I promise this will be a nice dialogue. All right? Where we are in construction now, if any one of those 3 or 4 people that's on that list can come in and go, no problem, we'll do that feasibility study. We understand there's a time consideration, because like it or not, digging that thing up later on, we may be denied because of FAA requirements. No, we have these same problems with town roads, state roads. Can't dig for over 5 years unless it's an emergency, and solar power will not be considered an emergency, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Okay. I just wonder, aren't they just gonna hook into an existing power line and
remember,
And just,
If the
you
pa-
know,
if the
have the
solar-
meter run backwards?
no,
No.
that's not
No,
the way
okay,
that
that's
works.
my question.
But if you're gonna have a solar array up there, the feasibility study is gonna include where it's gonna set on the property and how much you can have, what the deflection is gonna be to the pilots in the air, FAA required. You'll see that in all of the proposals in every airport that they have them at. Closest one is down in Sanford. You can call them up and they'll tell you.
Waterville.
You can have a nice dialogue with them, they're very informative about that. But there is underground electrical wire that runs there.
Okay.
Right now, granted, you can get dig safe to come up and say, yeah, there's this, that, and the other thing, and we have plans that'll operate. But we're in construction right now where everything is gonna get dug out. Wouldn't it be nice to lay the wire down?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to say, Cindy. And I'm not trying to pull it out of what you want done,
Yeah.
except that we're not digging anything else up in town for the sewage treatment plant or the school or there is none of those construction projects. We should have been looking at that at the school when they redid that and put the roofs as solar collecting panels. And I even asked that question.
Well, it's just such a big topic now because the governor is really, you know, there's some
Agreed.
incentives out there now, it's a lot more, and the costs have come down considerably for the project, but basically, you know, I mean, Guy Ruel sat here and said that the airport project or any solar project at the airport would be limited to its expenses, to how much it costs for electricity or the overall cost of running the airport. And we don't even have that yet because we still have an 1,100-foot runway that is going to be lit that will drive up the cost of electricity. So to even start an airport, you know, even look at a solar project now based on current numbers, you're not doing. I mean, you're not doing us any. They're not doing us any favor because we'll be limited to the current electrical bill based on a 3,800-foot runway.
Well, with one major glaring exception, they know the wattage output of all of the LED lights that they're adding to. So any engineer can tell you what you're, at the current rates today, you know,
Yeah,
speculate a 3 to 7% increase.
I think you're projecting. I don't think you know that.
No, that's true.
But I want to talk with someone who can share some good knowledge, good information, and you know, and move forward from there. That's all.
I have a lot of questions, and I think probably everybody does,
Yeah.
how this is all gonna shake out, and I'd rather, you know, if we're gonna put a solar array, put it over at the sewer plant.
Exactly.
Because that thing uses way more electricity than anything in this town, probably.
It does.
Except for the school, maybe.
The sewer plant's at $24,000 a year. The pump station's combined at $32,000 a year. And then the town office, public safety building and highway combined, you know, $15,000 a year. So,
All right, I don't want to throw cold water on anybody's points of view, but you're still talking projections, Cindy.
no, these are actual numbers.
And we have actual numbers at the airport.
Well, what I'm saying, Steve, is, all right, Guy Ruel has sat there and told us that any solar project specific to the airport would be limited to the costs of operation at the airport.
Correct. He went on to say that right now, you're expecting to pay 50 grand a year, and it will be more than that with the increased snow plowing. I remember that entire dialogue. So if we can put in a solar array up there that it covered 25% more, we're asking the town not to fund the airport anymore with being able to do this with federal money.
Yeah, oh,
And what you're asking us to do is to wait, not spend the federal money that we have got 100% funding for, and wait until it's all done, and then if it's feasible, dig it up again. That's where I part company. That's all. So I'm willing to, we rescinded the vote, we'll look at it, but
okay.
I just don't want to see it all divided up and geez, and then all of a sudden we don't do anything. You've given me my wife look, I see that look. All right,
Anyway, I'd like to get them in, somebody in.
yeah, we will.
Yeah, and just have, you know, run stuff by them.
So if we bring someone in so that, like, it's informative, we should bring them in one at a time anyway, I would think. So you want us to invite this after
That'd be great.
the meeting?
Can we invite the other two that you had there? Would that be all right?
Let's see.
Sure.
Or would that be too much for that one night?
Compare what they're
What do you
telling
think?
us.
Not that they're not gonna tell us the same thing, but you never know. I don't know.
They list 3 solar companies. Revision is who responded to the email. In-source renewables out of Pittsfield. There's no contact information listed for that one.
Okay.
And Sundog Solar out of Searsport. There's no contact information listed there either. So, it's...
So this is the only information we have, who to contact?
Yeah, I mean, this is the latest, the one that I haven't looked back to see if they've updated it since March 4th.
I can check the internet.
So you just wanna go with the one?
If it's just for information, it's not like we're locking in on a contract with
Right.
anyone.
No, it's just
That's fine.
Information.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just one.
We'll see if he wants to come.
So, can I just speculate, or ask you a couple questions? If he doesn't come, what do we do then, Cindy? If we don't get responses from these people,
Well,
what?
I mean, if you read the email, he's offered to come.
Yep, I did read
Sounds
it.
like he's really interested.
Yep,
Yeah, so-
okay, good. All set there? Draft media policy, second reading and adoption. Do you want me to read it? Thank you. We didn't have any changes, so let's adopt it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we adopt the media policy dated, is there a date on this? Anyone?
Second reading. There is no date.
Second reading of the media policy. There's no date on it.
Here's on your signature sheet. On the signature sheet where you always sign in at the end of the meeting, just make sure
Yep,
I'm putting it in the.
okay,
copy.
yeah, that's why. That would be today. Anyway,
Today's the 20th.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. Any discussion? Nice job. All in favor? No opposed. Thank you. School budget. June 4th at 6 PM is the budget meeting at school. I think they still call it the multipurpose room. Where you get to go over and talk about it and actually treat it as a old-fashioned town meeting. And then June 11th is the secret ballot for validation of whatever transpires that night up at school. Great opportunity to go up and ask questions, and it's really, we don't have much input in this, so.
That's where you vote on your school budget, and then it gets ratified at your town meeting. Can I, Steve, can I
Sure.
go back when we
Yep.
did the town meeting warrant for the town?
Yeah.
Just to remind people that the final hearing is on the 28th at the school at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
I meant to do that when we did
At the school.
that. At the school,
Did you get that, Ethna?
It's in the last article.
Dangerous buildings, number 9. Under number 9. There's a fair amount of detail in there about each of them. Or a lot of them, I should say. I think Tom Willis has done a good job of getting all of this, all the i's dotted, the t's crossed without any question. The process is that they'll notify these people to get them torn down by a specific date. If it doesn't happen, the town will come in, demolish them, send them a bill. If they don't pay it, correct me when I'm wrong, John, on this, then the town has an opportunity to put a lien. 2 years later, if they don't pay for it, we possess it, we'll take the property. That's the process.
Yeah,
Any questions on any of that?
that needs to come down.
One more question.
Yeah.
So is that something that the fire department could use as for their training? Is that something we put
Possibly,
with
yeah.
the letter to them, or?
It's too
The
dangerous.
roof collapsed, probably not, but we could ask the fire chief to look at it, but a lot of times they like to go into a building that's still structurally sound,
Okay.
so they can get guys in the burning building.
Mhm.
That's where the real training value is. So, I don't know, the pictures I saw, not much left of some of
No,
those
one of
buildings.
them
Oh, no, it's been, it butts my backyard. Anyway,
Oh, that's interesting, because the other one abuts my property.
that's weird. Anyway,
Yep. Any more discussion on that one?
oh, we need to sign off on this?
Thank you, I had a motion.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
well, a motion that Tom's recommending, I request that you motion and vote on the following, which will allow the CEO to assist in dealing with a dangerous structure located at 74 Ball Mountain Road in Rangeley. I move that we vote to delegate the authority vested in the municipal officials pursuant to Title 30A NRSA subsection 3106B, municipal authority to manage abandoned properties, and Title 17 MRSA subsection 2851 to 2859, dangerous buildings, to the code enforcement officer. This delegation includes the authority to conduct site inspections, issue corrective orders, and enter property to regulate the care, maintenance, and security of property determined to be abandoned.
So moved.
That works.
Second. Donnie seconded?
And I think we might want to do the...
Can we include both addresses in one motion?
You could add that to it. The other one is,
I'll amend the motion to include, that motion included 74 Ball Mountain Road.
and the
35
other-
Property is 35 Hotel
35
Road.
Hotel Road, yeah.
Moved and seconded,
Second.
any discussion?
No, nothing.
All in favor? I don't think he needs a movement on this, that's his job description, that's at least what I looked up. It is his job, I mean, I'm happy to do it this way to cover our bases, but I looked up his job description and that is part of what he's supposed to do under the
Well,
title.
What you just did was delegate your authority under the dangerous building statute for him to proceed. So that this will come back to you when we
Yep,
pick a public hearing and all that, and then you'll have to, you know, if the owners show up,
agreed,
you'll ask questions, it'll be like a regular court proceeding.
agreed, okay. Town manager updates, MMA officers, go ahead, John.
Just, we printed a letter today from MMA. It's like the nominating committee, nominated James Gardner Jr., town manager of the town of Easton, to be the next vice president, which means after the year of vice president, they automatically move to the president's spot. And then following candidates to serve on the executive committee for a full 3-year term: John Beekman, chairman of the select board, town of Fayette; David Sear, town manager of town of Mars Hill; and Ivan McPike, mayor of the town of Hamden. So those are their nominations, and eventually you'll get a ballot to vote.
Thank you. You have all your department head updates. Yeah, department head updates are there. Any comments on any of them? Anything on this end, this end? One more time, May 28th, 6 PM, public hearing on our warrant at the school. June 11th is a secret ballot for town meeting here. Polls open at 8, close at 8. Anything under other business? Any communications from the select board? Anything? No? This might be a record, except Donnie said he was pretty quick the last time. But, motion to adjourn, or we're going to executive session?
Executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title 1, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 4056E for consultation with legal counsel.
I'll second it. All in favor? Thank you.